All right, we're going to add these two wonderful fractions this time. The difference here is that, this time we have a binomial and a trinomial instead of the little monomials that we had earlier. So finding the common denominator is not so easy, I guess. Actually, I feel like it's easier when you're given this. What you want to do first is rewrite the denominators in factored form. So the first one doesn't change. Got to have the same denominators in order for these two things to be added or subtracted. All right, so we need to factor this x squared minus 3x plus 2, x and x, 2 and a 1, and they're both minuses. All right, so if you're comparing the denominators, they both have an x minus 1, but the one on the left is missing this x minus 2. So I just need to add it to the, to the expression. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by x minus 2. Okay. So the one on the left here, if I distribute on the top, I'm going to have x times x, which will give me x squared, and then minus 2x. And then the bottom is x minus 2, x minus 1, and then plus, I guess I could skip this step where I'm just writing them out again. All right, plus 2x minus 1. But since they have the same denominator now we could actually put them over one fraction. And that was the whole goal. We just wanted to have all of this expression as one fraction simplified. So it's going to be just an x minus 2, x minus 1 now, but both of these are going to make up our numerator. So the thing to notice is the negative 2x plus the 2x, they're just going to cancel out. And so we're left with x squared minus 1 there. Now what you want to do is you want to see if this thing will factor, and it does. X squared minus 1 will factor using difference of squares. All right, I'm going to be given an x minus 1, x plus 1. That's how that one's going to break down. And then an x minus 2, x minus 1 for the bottom. Okay. And then we have a common factor. That was the reason we left the bottom in factored form, was so that we could cancel that common factor. So our final answer here is going to be x plus 1 over x minus 2. Okay. Now, a lot of times what the problems will ask you to do is it'll say, like, state any domain restrictions or state any restrictions on the value of x. And so we have to think back as to our two rules for what x or what the domain is for any function. A, you can't take the square root of a negative, and the other one is you're not allowed to divide by 0. So you can tell from here that x is not allowed to equal 2, because that would blow up the bottom. All right, so x is not allowed to equal 2, but it's also not allowed to equal 1. All right, x minus 1 was a factor. Now, it's hard to tell looking at this, why is x not allowed to equal 1? Like, you can plug in 1 for x, right, on this thing. But the idea is that this came from this original expression up here. All right, and since it came from this original expression, that's why it's not allowed to equal 1, because you can't plug in 1 for x on the original. And that's the idea. All right, good enough there.